Hello, everybody. We are those guys you hate.
Welcome to the show that encourages you to be your best self by not being like us.
My brother and I hopelessly search for nuance as we wade through wacky segments and crazy conversations.
If you can withstand the insanity, you might actually learn something.
Tyler, what is on the docket for you this week?
Ryan, religion being forced into our schools.
Yep.
Goddamn. And Adobe is getting sued by the government. Suck it, company whose product I'm using right at this moment.
Currently. It's a good product.
What about you, Ryan?
Tyler, body dysmorphia through the ages. Is it human to be dissatisfied with our mortal shell? And how many times have you seen your dad cry? My guess is not enough, but let's find out together on this week's Those Guys You Hate. Gosh, that's crazy. Tyler, we find ourselves in a position that we've been many times on this show, and I'm going to ask you to use your good judgment to guard me against ourselves. I feel like we've been doing this our whole lives.
Okay. I like how you make me your buffer to the rest of the world.
No, that Michael is my Michael buffer. You are somebody who protects me against myself, and it's been this way for a while because I have good intentions, generally speaking, but I never know how far my charm will get me before it wears off, and now I'm just in trouble. So I have a joke that I want to tell, but I need you to stop me before I get in trouble, okay? So I'm going to start it's not really a joke. It's really just a thought that I've had, but I need you to keep an eye on me like a verbal babysitter. Can I trust? Why are you leaning back in your chair?
I'm front row for the meteor crashing down to Earth, and I want to watch it burn.
No meteor crashing. I need you to stop me before I say something that I will regret, okay?
Of course.
Do you know that old cliche of a man buying a dog to meet a woman or babysitting their nephew or their niece because women love little kids? It's a pot sweetener, as it were. You're familiar with this?
Sure. I understand the idea that you're presenting.
What are your thoughts on that?
That women like children?
No, but like somebody using a prop, especially in a place where you're supposed to be loving. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I'll take old Johnny out for Saturday. I love hanging out with my cousin. And then you go somewhere where there's going to be women. What's your idea on just that in general?
So using somebody that you love as a prop in order to entice somebody you're attracted to into talking to you.
I just want you to understand before you answer, I want to have some sort of a bigger societal issue conversation before I deliver my terrible punchline. Okay. It's the balance that makes this show work.
Gotcha. I'm not necessarily against it. Like, I understand the idea of using somebody you love as a prop or anyone as a prop without their knowledge is a little fucked up. But at the same time,
little Johnny,
if you're spending
we're gonna pull some great pussy today. Too much?
A little bit.
Okay.
If you're spending time with them and they're enjoying themselves, then nobody's getting hurt.
Okay. Yeah. All right. I'm glad, Tyler, you couldn't have answered that better for my terrible punchline, which is also a thought that I've had. There's a guy. Remember to stop me when you think the time is right. There's a guy at my gym that I have seen more than once with a young, obese, black child that very noticeably has Down syndrome.
Okay.
Okay.
So far, so good.
I'm good.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the fact. That's just a fact.
You're painting a picture.
Okay,
yep.
Right. And so I'm looking at that guy, and I'm like, come on, bro. Come on.
You think he's bringing out his obese, Down syndrome child so he can pull ladies at the gym?
I'm not. First of all, I did not say that.
I'm wondering what you're implying.
I did. Am I good right now?
You're
okay,
right.
because I did not say that.
Okay.
I want you to recognize that I did not say that.
Is that what you're implying?
If I was implying that, would that be an issue for us?
I don't think so.
Oh, well, then maybe I'm implying that.
Okay,
I'm
got you.
looking at him and I'm like, come on, bro. This is embarrassing. Like,
Why is it embarrassing? Is the kid working out with him?
I don't know. I'm in my mind, like doing this whole other thing. I don't know what the fuck's going on around me all the time.
Well, there's a significant difference between him bringing a Down syndrome child into a gym.
Am I so good? Am I okay?
While
We're
he
starting
just
off hot.
stands around, and there's a big difference between that and him bringing him into the gym and actually helping him to work out.
Well, and I guess
because that's where obese people belong, in the gym. They are bettering themselves no matter what.
I probably should have observed that. And when I see a heavyset person in the gym, when I see a heavyset person running down the side of the road, my immediate thought is, get it, girl, get it. I love it.
But not when they're Down syndrome-y.
Well, I'm just saying that the leash was a little bit too much. Hello, everybody. My name is Ryan.
Tap out. I tap out.
Was that it?
Leash a little bit too much. Any kind of leash, no.
I will edit that out.
Unless he's got one of those body leashes on him that
the spikes and
the white mothers love to put on their kids.
And the mask with the zipper. Welcome to the show. My name is Ryan. And over there is my brother Tyler. That was all set. I mean, it really is something that happened at the gym. And I'm sure this guy has the best intentions. It was just where my mind went. And I celebrate people bring heavy people to the gym. I celebrate going out with mentally challenged people. It's just a thought I had that I regret, and I hope nobody ever finds out about it. Tyler, my brother, my co-host, person who's deeply ashamed of being sitting next to me. How are you today? I feel like I came in too hot here today.
That was okay. It wasn't that big of a deal.
Okay, cool. Well, then in that case, I know what you're doing, brother. And it looks like it's working.
Brother is inappropriate. How dare you use
I'm
brother?
talking to the white guy.
How dare you? Wait, so the adult is black? The adult is white, but the kid is black?
The plot thickens.
Oh, wow.
Thank you, Tyler.
See, honestly, that's the strangest thing to me.
Okay, now I want to get away from what you're saying.
Well, wait a minute.
How are you doing, Tyler?
Wait a minute. Unless the mother is black herself, I find that, weird.
My guess is that they're not related in any way.
Where'd you get this little black kid from?
All right. Whenever we talk about anything like this, I get uncomfortable. And when I'm uncomfortable, we talk about it on the depression index.
Somebody should check on him.
I think that was too much. I think we went too far there.
Please.
No one cares. You don't know what to do.
What the depression index is a machine that we built with our hands, and I crank it up while wearing these ridiculous beads, and I look like a dumbass. Tyler, this week, we're doing the same thing we do every week. Depression index, we kind of talk about mental health. We talk about, everything in that genre, and this is just like a jumping off point. So how are you doing this week, my brother?
I'm doing well. I don't think we went too far with that. I think that was fun. The only person we were making fun of is the adult trying to better himself. You idiot.
Yeah, please.
I'm doing all right. I got my show tonight.
Yeah, how are you feeling?
Show number 3. I'm feeling a lot better.
A lot better than what?
Than the last 5 weeks while I was doing the class. I always fall into the same repetition of join the class, start the class, super high on life, and then the moment I get like one class in, I get super...
you start thinking about what's coming.
Yeah, and I get very insecure and filled with anxiety.
Now, can I ask you before you move on? This is something that deeply resonates with me. We grew up in the same place. We share the same DNA often. And my question to you is, BILF humor. Everybody loves it. My question to you is, does this obviously doesn't resonate with everybody, but do people find purchase in this? Even when I talk to, let's say, podcast Granny, she doesn't have the same mental fortitude as you and I. So
in terms of what? What do you mean?
Well, like if she does a night of like going out late and going crazy, she wakes up in the morning and lives her life. I want to die.
Yeah.
Socially and otherwise.
She didn't batter down her defenses repeatedly throughout her teenage years and 20s.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah.
And she's trying to make up for that time now.
Yeah.
And it's, what? I hate to say it, but it's too late. You'll never be able to ascertain that insecurity.
But
and I feel bad for you.
Much like somebody going to the gym, I appreciate you trying.
Get a black.
All right, now that was too far.
I'm genuinely serious that
we should keep all of this in.
We're not going to keep
all
that
this
in. I always regret what I'm saying at the moment.
Especially
so anyway,
the arbitrary black that you just left hanging in the wind.
I was going for the joke.
Yeah.
In the middle of it, I'm like, too much.
In a weird way, you nailed it.
Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, not in a way that makes you look good. Anyway. So I have the show tonight, and I always fall into this repetition where I get really insecure throughout the 5 weeks where the class goes on. I work on my material all the same. I'm never prepared for class. And then just like how I'm feeling today. As the show gets closer and I get a few days within the actual event, the entire emotion flips. I do a 180, and now I'm on top of the world, and I already know that I'm going to crush it tonight. So
now, is that because you're putting more time into it now? And I think one of our biggest problems, I went through this with yoga. It is this thing of I can bullshit and I can put things off, and I'm nervous as fuck, and then I go up there completely unprepared. And I crush it. And everybody's like, you did great, man. And I'm like, that was terrible. And they're like, you were great. And it only furthers my poor behavior.
Yeah. Yeah, it's working at it throughout the 5 weeks in the most minimal fashion that I possibly can, and still doing enough to make a good 5-minute set. And then, like I said, getting on stage and absolutely crushing it. Yeah, that's pretty much what happens.
Yeah, there you go.
So show tonight, Villain Theater in Little Haiti down here in Miami. If anybody's interested,
they're not going to hear this till it's over.
That's a really good point.
Yeah.
Oh,
well,
man,
if you have a time machine, come on by. We would be happy to have you
for sure. Or go to THOSEGUYSUHATE on Instagram or YouTube. Or you can go to Those Guys You Hate on TikTok, where I'm sure some hilarious shit will be posted.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
and it doesn't bother me at all that I'm not part of it. So stop asking.
You can be in the audience if you want. Oh, that's right. You can't.
Ouch.
Oh,
Ouch.
Burned him.
Ouch.
Ryan can't make it tonight, and he feels really bad about it.
This is my depression index, Tyler, so stop stepping on my dick.
This week, I'm going to say I'm at a 4.
Spin that wheel, baby.
2, 3, 4.
Well, we're all rooting for you, and I'm sure we'll see you in all of your glory that has nothing to do with me on the internet, and I'm looking forward to it.
I'm coming for you, Bill Burr.
So am I. Gay it up, Tyler. I guess I just did. I let you down, Tyler. I let you down.
No, you didn't.
I did. I did, and you're being gracious about it. But let me paint a picture. There's a little verbal tableau for the people out there, all the Haitian army. Tyler, weeks ago, told me about this stand-up comedy thing that was going. Now, Tyler, as you could tell, is the responsible one of the two of us, which is really, when you put it in those terms, a terrible position that I put myself in.
Yeah.
Now, what Tyler has really been drilling down on me for a while is when something happens, put it in your calendar. He's asked me over and over when I miss birthdays, when I miss appointments. My self-involvement gets in the way of my relationships, not out of anger, not out of hatred, but just because I am not thoughtful enough when worrying about other people's needs. So Tyler told me about this show, to be a good soldier, to show him that I love him. I put it in my calendar, which is great. That's a step in the right direction. But then I did nothing with that information.
Yeah.
And so I got scheduled to work the bar. Tyler sent me the link to buy the tickets. And by the time that you sent me, all of a sudden I'm like, oh shit, it's already too late. There's nobody who could pick up my shift for me. So
that checks out.
Add any sort of anything to that you would like to.
No, I can hear it in your voice. I don't need
like me beating myself up.
I don't need anything.
Good for you, you fucking sicko.
Yeah.
I'm happy you're happy.
Yeah. This is like my own personal comedy show. It's hilarious.
Somebody give me the hook. So I have been playing this out over the last week, and I'm realizing more and more. I'm calling people that don't even work there anymore to try to make up for my foibles. And finally, I break it to Tyler today, and Tyler, as always, is a fucking dick about it. Tyler couldn't have been more gracious, and I could tell in some ways he almost felt bad for me because you could see that I was suffering over it. So,
no, it's because you're gonna miss my brilliant comedy.
Yeah, I don't give a shit about that.
Everybody deserves
brilliant comedy all the time. It's sure. No, but I honestly, I genuinely feel terrible about it. I appreciate you as a brother being so kind in backing me up, even when I'm the one fucking you over. And I just want you to know that I deeply love you, and I need to do a better job making you more of a priority in my life to show. It's easy to say it, but it's not that easy to do it. So I had to come to you and just fess up and ask for your forgiveness. Yeah. And you gave it to me before I even finished, because I tend to go on long like I'm doing right now. So this week I am at actually, before I tell you where I am, I will have you know that since you and I talked this morning, somebody has reached out to me and they picked up my shift. I am coming to your show tonight by the grace of God.
You pulled the carpet out from under me.
And I munched on it and
you go to the sexual humor a lot today.
What's sexual about that?
It's been a lot. Carpet muncher, really?
Really? I didn't even get that.
Yeah.
What a coincidence.
Did you buy your ticket?
I have not.
Okay.
I'll get to it.
It might sell out. You should probably do that.
All right, we're going to take a little break here for a second. And we are back. I just purchased my ticket. I got roped into this bullshit. Had the night off, Tyler.
Yep.
And I honestly, I really love that not only did we get to have that nice moment of you just being kind to me, not only did we get a chance for me to learn that lesson, but also I still get to be there. You've been so supportive of me with this yoga thing. You've been to all sorts of things. You made so much time out of your life. And I appreciate it. I'm happy to be able to pay it back, even though I fucked up.
Well, now I have to delete my segment where I tear you down because of it. So
No, keep
you
it. Keep
really
it.
spoiled that for me.
Keep it, because it was by the grace
White
of God.
guy rant, am I right?
Wiki. All right, Tyler. This week I just went up a notch.
Nice.
I am. Where were you?
None of your business. Go ahead. What do you got? I don't want to tell you.
At a 1.
No, that's not true.
I had a rough week last week. This week I am trending back upwards.
Okay.
I'm finding strength inside myself, even when things aren't right. I'm waking up in the morning and I'm feeling that like dissatisfaction. I'm feeling that like I'm trying to tell myself something really good's gonna happen to me today.
Nice.
Something good is gonna happen to me today.
Yeah, it's called the comedy show.
And I'm gonna, well, yesterday at least, or tomorrow, we'll see. But I'm trying to embody that feeling, even when my mind is telling me otherwise. This week I'm at a 3, baby. 1, 2, 3. Where were you?
Good for you.
Where were you?
I was a 4.
Oh shit. All right.
Come on, we had it. I was all ready to go, man.
3.5.
Damn it.
Tyler, let's go ahead. Let's take a break. I'm going to see if I could pick up a shift because this has been way too much for me, and we'll come back on the other side.
Hey, everyone. If you're anything like us, you've struggled with depression, anxiety, isolation, or any number of things that hold you back in life.
Or do you procrastinate a little too much? Maybe you've had trouble with self-control or even just going through a tough time. Regardless of whatever it is you're going through, therapy can help.
For me, Ryan, it's completely changed the way I deal with my problems. Even the relationship with my own thoughts have improved dramatically.
And that's why we're excited to tell you about today's sponsor, BetterHelp.
BetterHelp's mission is to make therapy more affordable and more accessible. And this is so important to us because finding a therapist can be really hard, especially when you're limited to the options in your area.
BetterHelp is a platform that makes finding a therapist easier because it's online, it's remote, and by filling out a few questions, BetterHelp can match you up to a professional therapist in as little as a few days.
It's easy to sign up and get matched with a therapist. Go to betterhelp.com/thoseguys or click on the link in the show's description. Clicking on that link not only supports us, but supports you.
And we want to support you too by giving you 10% off your first month of BetterHelp to connect with a therapist and see if it helps you.
Finding the right therapist is so important, someone that you really connect with, and BetterHelp has made that easier than ever. Switching therapists until you find the right one without having to worry about insurance or any additional fees.
You know, Tyler, when I first had my son, I felt so many emotions that I had never experienced in my life. Therapy really helped me figure out what was going on.
Well, that is betterhelp.com/thoseguys. Help the show by supporting the people that help us.
Those guys.
Now, hopefully, the world is turned around a little bit and the people who are being that divisive now kind of don't know what to do.
Yeah, it's an ebb and flow, just like everything else in the universe, and these things have a balance and counterbalance to them.
I love it.
You're gonna swing it. What do you love? What are you loving right now?
You hate.
I love, you saying the things that you said specifically. I love when the show moves from that thoughts. I wasn't listening. to it.
Yeah.
When we edit,
Yeah.
we hear this a lot where
Yeah.
I have statements that I use to just move on to the next thing. I appreciate you calling me out for it. I'm gonna fucking beat the shit out of you.
Yeah, that's
Don't
fine.
ever
That's
do that
fine. Let the world know what's going on behind the scenes.
Well, hey, keep up the good work and you're dead.
Those guys you hate. Guys you hate. Guys you hate. Guys.
And we are black, babe. Oh, wrong time to be doing that.
Yeah.
I've been listening to Dateline.
Haven't heard that one in a while.
Yeah, you know what happened is that Dateline has a podcast where they just take the show and they put it on a podcast, and it is freaking legion long. I mean, it is so many. And I listened to it for such a long time. I actually listened to it 2 or 3 times through. That's how much I loved it. And I just had heard it so much that I had like memorized it. I had to take a break from it.
Of course.
I have realized that it's been long enough. I could start the whole thing all over again.
Hey, there you go.
Which I am doing.
Nice.
On Dateline, people are constantly saying there's a couple things that come up on Datelines all the time. Number one, if your daughter is named Amber, she's dead. She's going to be murdered. Every person who's ever been murdered on Dateline is named Amber. Don't name your kid Jeeves. Don't name your kid Amber.
I feel like that's a stripper name too. Either dead or a stripper, or becoming a stripper and then murdered.
I mean,
Yeah.
those two things are synonyms. Also, the color of your energy. But on Dateline, people are constantly saying, and that's the first time I saw my father cry. Like when one of their siblings had passed away, they're showing you that this has rocked somebody to their roots. And they're saying that was the first time I saw my father cry. Have you seen Dad cry?
Oh yeah, sure.
Oh, yeah?
I made him cry once. Yeah, it was very, very unfortunate.
Really?
Yeah.
Like a game of what is that thing where you grab each other's hands and you twist it until Mercy.
Mercy. Yeah.
Okay, that would have been good if I had known that 15 seconds
Yeah, that would have
ago.
been hilarious.
How'd you make Dad cry?
I said some really mean things to him when I was a teenager. Like we were like butting heads, and I said some truly terrible things.
Doesn't it suck to find out that stuff is inside of you? That sucks.
Yeah, but you know what? And you're absolutely right. It is terrifying and it's unfortunate and all that stuff. But because of those moments, you get to realize that stuff is in you. And the only way you can solve any of these issues is by acknowledging that it's there in the first place.
That's true, because a lot of times it's buried deeply.
Yeah.
It reminds me a little bit of Michael's wedding.
Which part?
The drive home.
Oh, yes.
Where
Yes.
we had a problem with my father that ended me in drunkenly sobbing.
We had a breakdown and it had nothing to do with the car. Let's just put it that way.
I was a grown-up. I was
Yeah.
not a teenager. As a matter of fact, my son was there who was a teenager. So
Well, in all fairness, what came out of you was from your youth. It's still in you, but that
Sure.
was a very young you that came out.
it's funny you say that because I chat GPTP'd today. Why do we have an inner child? I find myself using ChatGPT as a resource for some of these esoteric ideas, and it comes back with very concise, answers. And then I asked it to explain to me why we have an inner child in a condescending fashion. And it was like, oh, you need me to explain this to you. And
pretty good.
It was pretty good.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
I like how you needed the self battery as you get explained to you some enlightened kind of information.
I have this real battle going on with me of this desire for information and the bully for anybody who seeks that information.
I think I know who's winning.
Shut up, idiot. My son has seen me cry so many times.
Yeah.
My son has seen me cry so many times.
Healthy.
I'm a very emotional person. I can cry very easily, very quickly. One time I was watching the movie. What movie would make you cry when you think of now my son being there adds a whole different element to this, but can you think of a movie? Because the movie I'm about to give you is not going to be whatever you're thinking.
Okay.
We watched a movie together that was my favorite when I was a kid. And there was something about the time in my life where there was 20 years where I didn't cry. And then I opened up those floodgates and I was crying at Publix commercials, watching my favorite movie as a youth with my son.
Memento?
And I don't remember that movie. And it was a confluence of things. It was the movie Sister Act.
Oh, great movie.
Great movie.
Great movie.
Great. Number 1 is great. Number 2
Yeah.
is great. They're singing. They love the Jesus and all that
Yeah.
stuff.
Yep.
She has no eyebrows.
Yeah.
And something about that, we were sitting on a couch that was like the TV was to the right. So he is to the right of me. I am behind him. And we're watching this movie. And I am beyond weeping. I'm talking about streaming tears. And I'm trying to do it as quietly as possible because I feel like a fool and a crazy person.
Sure.
And at one point, he turns around and looks at me. He must have been 7 or 8, and he is very alarmed. He is very alarmed. And I'm like, we're good.
Didn't you, and maybe I'm betraying a trust here so we can edit this out, so no problem.
We will.
But didn't you recently, or not recently, but within the last, 6 months or so?
Very careful with your words.
Yeah. You were on a date and and she were watching that show. What is it? what is it?
Love on the Spectrum.
Love on the Spectrum.
Dude.
And you were just crying next to her the entire time?
Dude, where I could, like streaming tears, like snot coming out of my nose.
Yeah.
I've said some terrible things on this show. The reason I feel comfortable saying it is because I truly don't mean it. I have such a soft place in my heart. I'd like to think for everyone. And there's something about that specifically since I was a child of people who are so vulnerable and so innocent as those people. I couldn't, I mean, it wasn't like, oh wow, this is a sensitive dude. This is like, oh wow, this guy's got some serious fucking problems. Yeah. She was into it though.
And you would be correct.
Yeah, she liked it. It's nice to see somebody who feels something.
Sure.
Right?
I fully agree. I mean, just not around me.
It was embarrassing.
Don't fucking cry around me.
Yeah, I think I'm allergic to that as well.
To answer your question, and I don't know if this should be embarrassing or not, but it's not going to be the answer you expect. The last thing that made me cry was an anime, and the name of the anime is Assassination Classroom, and the ending made me cry buckets.
All right.
Cried buckets.
No judgment on that because I don't know what it is.
Yeah,
And
I just
you
think
know
the
what?
name is hilarious.
You're not much of a crier. I'm trying to think the last time I saw you cry. As a child, I think.
It's something I've been working on for years, ever since I've been going to therapy, and it's
Get your money back.
It's a superpower that just eludes me right now. Everybody else can fly, and I'm stuck down here on the stupid ass ground.
We'll get you a little wagon or something. Do you ever feel it building up? Do you ever feel that sting in your eyes?
Oh yeah.
You just can't release.
It builds up, and then there's some inherent
voice inside.
No, not a voice. It's like a reaction, like the way that when your adrenaline hits your body and you immediately clench up.
Yeah.
It's
fight or flight kind of a thing.
It's much like that. When I feel tears coming up, there's something in me that instinctively pushes everything back down.
That's probably healthy.
I'm really trying to beat it, but damn, is it strong?
Yeah, that's crying. Big deal. You see me cry all the time. I'm a crier.
Yeah, you're a little bitch.
Yeah, okay. That's not true. And that is Dateline or whatever. I don't even remember what the fuck I was talking
with a little depression index mixed in.
Well, I mean, we can't all be warriors, Tyler. All right, speaking of shedding tears, I saw my segue after I had already started.
Yeah.
Speaking of shedding tears, it's always sad when somebody passes away.
The segue would have been way better if you didn't.
Shut up! Shut. In retrospect,
bring attention to it?
In retrospect, I'm very good at this, but at the time, not great. Happy Death Day. We celebrate somebody's life.
You get so excited about the segue and then talk about it.
I'm not a podcaster at heart.
Yes, happy Death Day.
I got one too for the first time ever.
Oh, nice. Yeah, as Ryan said, somebody has died, and for this week we are going to celebrate their life because this is a life that we can celebrate.
I know who this is. I remembered seeing that somebody had passed away this week and thought Tyler's going to do a Happy Death Day on. Oh, I know who it is. Okay, go on.
Yeah, this week is Donald Sutherland.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, he was President Snow in the Hunger Game movies, which I think most people recently will recognize him.
Also the father of
Sutherland. Yep.
Kiefer,
excuse me.
Yep.
Yeah, he's been in, when I say lots of movies, he's been in like all the movies.
You know him.
Yeah.
He is a face that you look at him and you're like, President Snow is a great one for whatever the reason.
He is like the white Samuel L. Jackson. He is in everything.
I never noticed that Samuel L. Jackson was black.
It's literally decades of work.
Yeah.
The very first role I can find of his was something called Dr. Terror's House of Horrors.
Okay.
That was back in 1965.
Wow.
And he was acting, I believe, all the way up until he died. I don't know if he ever even retired or not.
Handsome man.
He was a handsome man.
Handsome man.
And the first role that I think of when I think of him is The Italian Job. He was Mark Wahlberg's mentor in the beginning of the movie. Spoiler alert, doesn't make it out of there.
What? Why? What's going on with him?
He just, Edward Norton's character in there is a piece of shit.
Yeah, and in real life. The thing is with him, see, that is a movie that I love. I have it on DVD. There's something about Donald Sutherland and other actors like him where he's so great. He's been in so many things, but for some reason, he's such a part of the tableau that you almost forget about him. You say that, and now I immediately remember he was great in that movie.
Yeah,
He's the bad guy.
I think, say it again?
He's the bad guy.
An Italian Job?
Isn't he?
No.
Doesn't he turn out to be the bad guy?
Edward Norton was the bad guy.
Oh, there you
Spoiler
go.
alert.
The opposite of a spoiler alert. I threw a little chum in the water.
Edward Norton kills him in the beginning.
What?
Goes, yeah.
What?
Yeah. Yeah.
I had to clear something.
I saw you scream but couldn't hear it. It was the creepiest
I had to
thing.
clear something in my throat, and I was like, "Fuck it, I need to yell here."
So Donald Sutherland, literally decades of work, literally over 60 years of work, which is insane.
We salute that
amount of work. And you're absolutely right. He was so integral to Hollywood throughout the ages
I'm an integral guy, but go on.
Literally decades of work, and yeah, it's I mean, as Ryan said, we salute you and very, very happy death day. He was 88 years old, so a very long life lived.
Beautiful.
Good job, sir.
Beautiful, Tyler. Great job. Sorry for derailing you
Dick
there.
stepping.
Yeah. All right, now I'm gonna do one. I spoke earlier on the pregame, which is where Tyler and I kind of warm up. We get our minds in the right place.
Pre-game, post-game, go to 30 seconds after this main episode ends, and you will find us there being goofy as fuck.
Thank you. Unlike the actual show.
Yeah.
I discussed Conan O'Brien. Now, Conan O'Brien is a late-night talk show. He's still alive, by the way.
I was going to say, don't do this to me.
No. Late-night talk show host that I grew up with. He was on after David Letterman, and at the time of the smooth and the polished late-night show host where you got Johnny Carson, you got Jay Leno, David Letterman was a little bit more wacky.
Sure.
But Conan O'Brien was his own special voice, and I've tuned back into him. He's got a TV show. He's got a podcast.
What is it? Conan O'Brien needs a friend, right? Or Conan needs a friend?
And so he has on 2 different episodes very quickly, because this isn't even what I'm talking about, but where he has some of the biggest stars out there, Larry David, Adam Sandler, on down the list.
Mm-hmm.
I don't find those to be that interesting. He also has every other one where he just meets a fan from
Those are cool.
Schenectady or Portland or wherever, and they just those are the ones that I really like.
Mm-hmm.
And the way that he is not only connects with people, he was a writer for SNL, Simpsons. He's just himself. He's just wacky and crazy and in his own fucking deal. And it's just, I find that to be so charming. Same for somebody who passed away very recently who has that same vibe to me. And I missed my opportunity, but I'm going back and doing it here. Bill Walton, Tyler. Bill Walton. What do you know about Bill Walton?
Bill Walton, died a couple weeks before Jerry West, of an icon of the NBA and
college basketball.
And by all accounts, I never met him. Just a genuinely good human being.
A great human being that just exuded energy and love and kindness and some of those hippie kind of values.
I'm going to go ahead and guess, did more acid than you or I could ever do throughout our entire lives.
I mean, we could try. I mean, we could get in there, but
I'm
yes.
coming for you, Walton.
Huge proponent of psychedelics.
Yeah.
And the thing was, and lastly here, he had incredible, I think he had like 37 back surgeries throughout his life.
Really?
He was in an incredible amount of pain, almost always stood up because it was so hard for him to sit and stand up. And the fact that he was in that kind of pain and still was able to smile through it. And what I want more than anything for myself is when I'm gone, because I have to be somewhere at about 2:30.
Hi-yo.
I want people to speak about me in a way of like, wow, Ryan really made people feel good. He was kind. And that's the vibe that I get from Bill Walton. So I have 2.
Well, you got to do more acid.
2, I'm on it, buddy. Whatever I got to do to get what I want. I've got 2 little clips here of Bill Walton just being himself, and people just appreciated him for it. I don't know who else gets this kind of a leash in Hollywood, but just very quickly.
Is that the catcher?
It is.
I tell you, I'm not a very good catcher. I'm much better at getting high than getting low.
Hey! That was him.
He was broadcasting a baseball
game. They brought him in for a little wackiness.
I bet the MLB loved that one.
But I thought it was enjoyable.
That is good.
And who else could do that? I mean, Charles Barkley maybe could do that.
Yeah.
I know that's not his jam, but it's like, just so himself.
Barkley can definitely get away with stuff like that, and does.
And
he calls San Antonio women big old women or whatever it is, which is just crazy to me.
He's grandfathered in. He's fine.
Yeah.
And finally, this one.
I'm Bill, and this is my great friend, the true giant among us, a brilliant genius, one who's able to create beauty out of darkness. And your name?
It's Jason Still.
Okay.
So I say to you, Bill, like genuinely, that's a the energy, the vibe of a person that I wish there was more of, that I aspire to. I get caught up in my daily bullshit and the little things that drag me down, and I want to be more of that kind of an energy of somebody who finds beauty in the middle of all the pain.
Yeah, I agree.
So, Bill Walton, you ready to pay me?
Let's
play
do
me
it.
out? Bill Walton, we wish you a happy death day.
Happy Death Day.
Wow, that was my first time doing that.
Yeah.
That felt good.
It's good, right? Got this great jam right afterwards.
So good. You know how long it took for me to record this? All right, Tyler, let's go ahead. Let's take a break.
I think that's a lawsuit right
We'll
there.
come back and we will. I made that. We will come back and we will talk about body dysmorphia through the ages.
I got that.